Welcome back to another Creative Studio Productions podcast, where today we are talking about clients and other swear words. I'm John Oney.
And I'm Ben Branham.
And thanks for joining us today. But first, how was your week this week, Ben?
My week this week was great.
Yeah, what'd you end up doing?
So there was River Falls Days in our town where we live. And
that sounds like a party.
It was a party. Yeah, we avoided that part of the party. But my kid, they did a cool chalk festival kind of thing. Chalk, coloring on the chalk of the sidewalks and things like that. So they did like a little, not really a contest, but there was a multiple areas of different people, different artists doing chalk, and they put in a lot of time, like 7-8 hours of.
Wow.
So it was kind of cool.
Wow. Yeah. What did Trid end up drawing?
They did Ahsoka from Star Wars.
Ahsoka?
Yeah. You know
Wait.
Okay.
I don't know the names. Give me. I love Star Wars, but I don't know the names. There's so many characters.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
she originally started in Clone Wars. The animated series, and now she's live action in Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
is she, what does she look like?
She's got the head tails.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ahsoka.
Yeah. She's like super awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yeah, they're coming out with their whole new series on her
I
too.
heard that actually. Mm-hmm. No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. So they drew Ahsoka and had a lot of fun, and we got some cool pictures. So
all right.
Yeah. How about you? How was your week?
Oh man, my week. Let me think here. So I started working on. I have a bar in my basement that I've been building forever, and with kids, everything takes forever. You know what I mean? 100%. And so I finally put up the shelf in the bar where kind of all the alcohol goes and whatnot. And I'm not super happy with it because when you have kids, you just feel rushed on things. Yeah. And so it didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to.
Well, that's a bummer.
But I mean, it's there. It's things I can definitely repair.
Sure.
You know,
that's good.
Yeah. But there were definitely a lot of swear words going off in my head when I was building that. And speaking of swear words.
Oh, yes.
Clients. We are talking about clients today.
Not all of our clients.
Not all of our clients.
No.
But specifically kind of harder clients to get along with.
Yeah.
And kind of what you can do and what we've done and what's worked for us to kind of help us through those hard times. So, Ben, you got some crazy stories about clients. I know we heard about one last year on our podcast.
Yeah. So that specific story was a long time ago. It feels like a lifetime ago when I worked at a sign company in St. Paul, Minnesota. And this client was actually a recurring client. We did a lot of stuff for them. They wanted to build the show car. I should say truck.
What's a show truck?
Truck.
Just so people know.
It was like something you wouldn't drive every day for sure.
Okay.
Very high end, very splashy.
Yeah.
You know, like big chrome wheels, everything like that. And so they had this show truck and they wanted a show trailer to match to go with it. Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And so the trailer, he wanted this huge graphics along the sides and the back and things like that. So, but the problem that we had with this client was he was in a rush, right?
Yes.
And we explained to him early on that we should not rush this. We know you have a show next weekend, right?
Right.
Maybe you should not have the trailer part of the show and do it next time, right?
Right.
He wanted to rush through.
Yeah.
So,
and that's always hard because like
it is.
It puts you in a stressful, anxiety inducing situation and it doesn't help the process at all.
Not
in
at
fact,
all.
If there's one mistake, usually can throw off the whole thing.
Absolutely. Kind of like the back bar of you're rushed, right?
Right.
And so it doesn't turn out the way you want.
Right.
So he had it quickly painted. This is not his show truck. This is his show trailer. He had it quickly painted. We put the graphics on, and we prefaced it, do not clear coat over these graphics right away. Let it, what they call off gas, for a good week.
Sure. So,
and we were like, you could bring it to the show. Don't clear coat it.
And did he listen to you?
Of course not. We should have had it in hindsight. We should have had it in a writing.
Right.
And so we have those expectations. Like, okay, we will do this for you. We will do it quickly, but you cannot, clear coat over these.
Right.
So what happened is we did the graphics. He clear coated them the next day.
Oh my gosh.
And so what happens is the paint that they had on before we put the graphics on is still outgassing. And what happens is all these bubbles, just like acne,
all gosh.
Over the and even though we set expectations and told him, prefaced it, like, don't do this, he still put the blame on us, and we had to redo the graphics.
Oh my goodness. That's so frustrating.
It is.
Yeah, that's super frustrating.
And what's really frustrating is we had open communication about it. I know we try to do our best to educate him, but they still did did what we told them not to do.
Right.
Like I said, in hindsight, I think a lesson learned is you have it in writing.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point. Mm-hmm. Like, setting expectations isn't something that we as creatives always want to do, because we want to just jump right into the creative process, because that's what we enjoy doing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that has helped us and has mitigated some of our problems up front is setting those expectations. Mm-hmm. And so we have a whole contract that we have people look at and sign. Mm-hmm. It goes out through an email. We require a 50% deposit, because we've had times in the past where clients, will get through all the work and we haven't required that 50%, and they don't like something and they decide, well, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Right.
And
or I'm not going to pay.
Right. Or I'm not going to pay.
Right.
And obviously then you're out of your time. Mm-hmm. You've put time and effort into this. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those clients who do that, they don't even tell you necessarily what they don't like about something. They're just like, I don't like it.
Right. And you wonder if it's literally just an excuse to not pay.
Right.
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 With having
Right. And I think recently, in fact, we had this happen. I mean, this happened to you.
Yes. Yeah, it happened to me. So a few months back, I had a client who I've never dealt with before. They wanted a logo for their construction company. Easy enough, Send them the contract, send them, pay half down, set expectations that we will have. I'll give you 3 to 4 options.
Right.
And they're going to be different options, like different genres almost.
Yeah.
So we can narrow down, like, what are you actually looking for? Mm-hmm. And he kept saying, like, I want a clean, simple logo. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's good. Those are good buzzwords, but it's not specific.
Right.
So I sent him 4 logo options, and I thought they turned out really cool. I was excited especially about 1 or 2 of them. And he came back with a simple email. Can I have more options?
Okay.
And to me, on the surface, you're probably like, well, that's not a big deal. You're right. But to me, that was, okay, I need feedback on these 4 logos. Or I need you to show me a specific genre of a logo that you're drawn to.
Yep.
And that's what I emailed him back. I'm like, okay, cool. I can do that.
Right.
But those 2 things, I need feedback or an example.
Right.
And he came back with, well, I can't do that.
Ugh.
And so
that's hard.
And so I had to make the call. Do I continue on with this and come up with more options?
Right.
Or do I just say, sorry, bro, this is not going to work.
Yep.
I appreciate you coming to us, but find somebody that you will jive with, because this is not going to work.
Right.
So you just kind of cut your losses.
Yeah.
So
no, that's smart. I mean, it's smart to cut your losses. I know for me, sometimes the clients I give the biggest discount to are often the hardest to work with.
100%, right.
Because they want the world.
Yeah.
Right. And in fact, specifically, I had a client this last year who came to me and said, hey, I want this video. I gave them a killer deal. They were a nonprofit. I love their mission, what they're doing. And basically, I gave up two of them. I didn't charge them necessarily for the time it took me to shoot this video. I just charged them for half the editing on the back end. Like this is crazy discount.
Yeah.
And they're like, we just want something new. We want something flashy and whatnot. So I went and I think you came with me actually. You came with me for one of these shoots and we shot all this content and we put it together and I gave the final edited video to them. And basically what was sent back to me was, we don't like it.
Kind of just like my experience,
yeah,
right? I mean, no feedback.
What can you do? And so, and as the creative content creator that we are, we can't expect people necessarily to be able to voice everything.
Right.
But we can go back to them and say, okay, specifically, what didn't you like about this? Like we need some specifics so we know that we're at least going in some sort of right direction with this project.
Otherwise, you're just going to continue guessing and guessing and guessing.
Right. And nobody likes to play the guessing game. I mean, it's not good for the client.
Right.
It's not good for you.
Right.
And so finally, and this turned out well in the end, but finally I was able to talk to the client and say, okay, what specifically don't you like about this project? And they were able to articulate what they didn't like. And we were in it, you know, it wasn't even that big of a deal. Like I thought at first, like we got to scrap this whole project and redo the whole thing.
Right.
You know, because when they say they don't like it, you think, oh man, all of it's bad. And so now I have to scrap this whole thing. Well, that might not be the case. Honestly, it was just a couple transitions that we had to change.
It's amazing, especially in video, how small things can make such a huge difference.
Right.
It could just be the video or the music bed.
Right.
That could literally be the only thing that they don't like about it, right?
It could be the color.
Totally.
You know,
totally.
or what kind of color grading you
Absolutely.
use. Is this more warm or is it more cooler tone?
Right.
So, and the client was ended up being happy. I ended up putting a little more work into it than I necessarily wanted to. But I felt good about the final product in the end, and that's what mattered. And they felt good about the final product in the end, and they're still using it to this day.
That's awesome.
So, difficult clients are difficult to work with, but sometimes asking them the right questions, specifically, what don't you like about this, allows you to then go back and be able to make some of those changes.
Right.
Instead of just going whatever. Now, in your case, with this construction company and this logo, that's a little bit of a different story.
It was a different story, and from all the years of experience, what I've found is everybody has something in their head. Right. They might not know how to articulate it, but they really do have something in their head, something in their mind that they have envisioned that they are going for, and it's our job to pull that out of them.
Right.
But when you can't, I feel like you have to almost cut your losses.
Yeah.
The other unfortunate thing was I wish I could have sat down with a client in person and talked to him, but that was not an option for him.
Right.
And so, again, I just had to make the hard call and be like, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work.
Yeah. That's hard when you can't have that, because when you're on a phone call or even like a Zoom call, like it's hard to really kind of have that face-to-face personal interaction that allows you to kind of get to know each other really well. It seems like it's on a phone call or on a Zoom call, it's always like, okay, a quick question about something, but then it's down to business.
Yeah.
That in-person kind of creative brainstorming, if you will, really helps the process for us. And if you can't have that with a client, then that's really hard.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to talk about one more story.
Yeah.
I recently had a quote unquote client.
Oh, yeah.
That was supposedly from the Chicago area. And I'm thinking to myself, one, we're in the Twin Cities. There's plenty of production studios in Chicago. Why would they be contacting me? But went to our website and filled out our contact form and everything. And It was interesting because there was a little red flags here and there.
Yep.
But sent him back like, hey, would love your phone number. I'd love to talk, at least over the phone or in person. Of course,
you don't want to dismiss it.
Right. You don't want to dismiss it. And then I got this book of an email back of, he's opening a restaurant. There's going to be 5 locations. They want this menu video kind of thing. And I was like, sweet. Yeah, I love those types of videos. And then basically he wrote a book of an email that just spelled out everything that he wanted.
He even gave you examples.
He even gave me,
of like, which as a creative, again, that's helpful.
That's helpful.
Like we know the direction he likes, and so that was exciting.
Right. Yeah. And then what was hard was I emailed him back saying, okay, he's like, I can do the 50% deposit, He had, what I thought was strange is then he asked for my personal cell phone. I gave him our business number because never give out your personal information. Even if you're a business, this is a good lesson. Never give out your personal information because, as you'll see in the story, what happens is this person ended up being a scam.
Yep.
And it was a good one because, he was saying the right things. He sent the examples, the links that weren't like viruses, or they were actual YouTube videos to things that he wanted.
Right.
But what threw me in the end was I said, I want a personal phone call. I need to talk to you in person before I start any work. And it was a no. It was, I can't do that because I'm in Southeast Asia in COVID quarantine and I'm running my business via email. And that's obviously where you go, okay, this is a huge red flag. Yeah. And it's frustrating because it sounded promising at first.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like being able to spot those scams and know like, okay, that's a client swear word right there. Like if we're talking about clients and other swear words, like that's where you want to just be like, come on.
Right.
I ended up emailing them back and being like, hey, if you don't know, there's a God out there who loves you, and just kind of gave it to him, and I haven't heard back from him. So maybe eventually he'll change his life or something.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know, right?
You never know.
Yeah, but clients, there's good clients, and then there's clients that are definitely harder to work with. I also want to say, don't dismiss those clients that are hard to work with.
Absolutely not.
Because sometimes those clients can turn into some of the best clients.
They might push you in directions that you might make an amazing product out of it because they do push you.
Right.
And that's fine.
Yeah. So what we're not saying is don't take on hard clients.
Right.
Just be able to redirect those clients' feedback or lack of feedback in order to make a product that they'll love and that you'll love as well.
And also just keep that open dialogue and conversation. That's really key too.
Right.
So.
Right. And again, just to reiterate, I think you said it best, being able to set expectations prior to the project. So for a logo design, hey, in this, you're paying us to do a logo design. You're going to get 4 proofs.
Right.
You spell that out.
Yes.
You're getting 4 options. And from there, those 4 options, we'll start narrowing it down to what we like. And if we have to go back to the drawing board.
Of course.
Yeah.
I would have been totally open to doing that.
Right.
I just needed some direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so being able to refocus the client and being able to set those expectations at the beginning will allow that project to go so much smoother.
Yeah.
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 And it will, you'll avoid maybe kind of the clients who are like, hey, I'm not going to pay.
Yeah.
Especially if you require a 50% down deposit.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because your work is valuable as a creator. Like you've spent time and kind of like developing the skill, and you've spent time in classes and all that stuff. So your work is valuable. So don't undervalue your work. And people who just want something for free are people who are just trying to take advantage of you anyways. Let me rephrase that a little bit. there are some things you as a creator want to do as free. Like there might be some nonprofit out there that you're like, I'd love to give some of my time to this. I might not have money, but I'd love to give some of my time. You've done that for some things in River Falls. You've designed some posters for events and all that stuff. But that's you choosing.
Right.
If a client ever comes to you and says, hey, can you do something for me for free? I would say run.
Yeah.
Run away.
That's a big red flag.
Yep.
And I think it's key to be aware of those red flags and and just decipher whether is this gonna be a good client, a good project for me, or is this gonna take so much time out of my day that this is not gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And also, what is life giving to you as a creator? What gives you kind of that, yes, this is awesome,
right,
kind of feel? Not all work has to be awesome.
No.
But if you're going to give away your time, make sure you're passionate about it.
100%.
And that you believe in the cause.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, there you have it. That's our episode for today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That's clients and other swear words. We won't say what those swear words are. You know what those swear words are. I'm John Oney.
And I'm Ben Branham.
And we'll see you next time. Same great time.
Same great place.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.